What's going on, everyone? On Tuesday, about 62% of the S&P 500 closed up in the green. NVIDIA finally did it as they became the world's most valuable company, and we are heading into one of the strongest weeks of the month. So we have a lot on our schedule. We have 2 more trading days left for the week, and I have a feeling that they're going to be good ones. So let's jump right into it, Tom.
Yeah, I feel you. I think we're going to have a nice end of the week here. You know, it was pretty weird with having a short week, especially where we're off on a Wednesday, right? It's a little bit different. I'm used to maybe Mondays or Fridays or something like that, but we're going to end the week on a strong note, that's for sure, especially with the way these stocks are moving. Like NVIDIA, it carried the market again on Tuesday. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing that by now, but it continues to power higher, up 3.5%, all the way up to 136.50. And looking at it on the daily chart, Mike, I mean, there's just really no end in sight right now, right? I would almost say it's becoming almost like a bubble at this point with how much it's going. But in the short term, it continues to power higher and continues to dominate most of the market. You can see a lot of the tech stocks were actually down on Tuesday. Apple, Google, Meta, Microsoft, all in the red, but NVIDIA made up for it along with financials and some other parts of the market. So let's go, Mike. You know, and like you said, NVIDIA actually toppled Microsoft and Apple as the world's most valuable company. And we've been talking about this a lot over the past couple weeks, and it's cool to finally see them at the top here.
Big time. And I know Nancy Pelosi is definitely happy as she's still holding her NVIDIA position. And the last I saw, she was up over $5 million. So that was pretty crazy too. But as we look at NVIDIA and the rest of these big powerhouse tech companies, something that's pretty interesting that's going on in the market right now is that the top 10 stocks in the market now make up a 37.5% weighting in the entire S&P 500. This is the largest percentage that we've seen in a long, long time. And I know we've been saying this a ton lately, but it's just that important. Whether you are trading these big tech stocks or you aren't, you better pay attention to them because they are quite literally running the market right now. So companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, Meta, stocks like that are having so much more of an influence on the market right now than they have almost ever before. So you have to keep a very close eye on them. And honestly, this is where most of the opportunity has been over, of course, the past month, but especially even over the past year.
Yeah, it really is. And I know that some of these stocks did kind of bad on Tuesday, like Apple and Microsoft. They were kind of down in the red. So, we don't want to sit there and say hey, these stocks are going to necessarily every time they fall, the stock market's going to fall, right? But SPY didn't really have the best Tuesday. I mean, it had a good day. It was green, up 0.25%. It did have a good move towards close, but you can see for the majority of the day, it was pretty choppy, right? It wasn't like that huge straight up killer, even though NVIDIA was so powerful. It just, the SPY was pretty flat there because those other stocks were influencing it so much. But that's such a weird chart, Mike. And, something that's pretty weird about that chart that I noticed is look at how we got into the dot-com bubble, right? Once it started getting pretty overextended to the upside here, things started tumbling back down, right? As that bubble kind of bursted. And I don't know, Mike, it seems like there's another bubble here between the stocks alone. And then, even with these weightings, it's getting pretty crazy.
We shall see. But another thing we have to talk about going into these next couple days is that we are heading into a pretty seasonally weak time for the market. So we could see going all the way back to 1950, we could see that June, or I guess you could say the end of it, normally isn't that strong for the market. We could see once about that 17th to 18th day of June hits, normally the market struggles a little bit until the end of the month. So definitely keep that in mind going into these next couple days. Of course, just because this is the historical average, it doesn't mean that the market has to play out exactly like this, but it is worth noting that, these historical trends have been in place for, over 70 years at this point. So keep that in mind over these next couple days.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty important to look at. It's always good to look at the historical data. I love charts like this, Mike, and we've seen the market play out this way quite a bit, even on this uptrend. We've looked at some of the historical times that the market looked weak, and that ended up being times like where the market was pulling back a little bit. Like if we look at the end of last year, like September into like December, that time was a pretty historically weak time for the market, and even a couple other times on the way up here with some of these pullbacks. But Mike, the market's just been so good lately. It's hard to go against it, right? And this is some historical data that does kind of go against it, but at the end of the day, it's always fun to look at.
All righty, there we go. And then the economic calendar is pretty boring this week, but let's make it quick, Tom.
Yeah, so for tomorrow, it's actually the biggest day of the week, I'd say. There are building permits 1 hour before the market opens with initial jobless claims. So be a little bit ready tomorrow morning. Those initial jobless claims might move the market a little bit. There is another Fed speaker later in the day. And then Friday, there's not really too much. There is the Global Services PMI flash for June, and then existing home sales, but that's pretty much it.
All right, there we go. And then looking at the SPY for tomorrow, what would you say are like some of the key levels to watch out for? We're right at all-time highs, and it's definitely been running in a pretty strong way lately. But as we just showed, at least historically speaking, these next couple days are usually weak. So what should we look out for?
Yeah, on Monday night, we talked about that big resistance around like 548.40 to 548.50. Ended up having a pretty stiff rejection there yesterday, and then we actually saw a good breakout in after hours. So SPY is getting up towards some of these pretty larger levels, right? We've never been at these areas before, so there's uncharted territory overhead, but I'm definitely going to watch this 550 resistance. That's a very nice whole dollar mark there, and I would expect a little bit of chop, but it all depends on the momentum in the market, right? Like we might get a lot of good momentum with NVIDIA and blast right through that, but I'm definitely watching 550 to the upside first. I'm going to use 548.50 as a good support, and then the bigger support here in the short term is right around 547. You can see where there was a lot of price action there over the past couple days. If we do get under there, I'm watching 545.50, but Mike, we better not get under there, right? That'll be a pretty bad pullback here for the market if that happens.
Alrighty, well, let's get right into some setups and predictions. A stock that I've been talking about so much over these past couple months is Chewy, and it just had a phenomenal day on Tuesday. I know I've been talking about this one a lot, but it has been paying, especially in the short term. So I'm continuing to look at Chewy in a bullish way. The price action ever since the beginning of like June or so, you could say a couple weeks before that as well, has just been phenomenal. It's gaining more and more momentum, so I'm going to continue to look at this one in a bullish way. This doesn't mean it has to rise tomorrow, but it is one of the stocks that has been gaining more and more momentum lately. So the more pressure it puts on its recent highs, the better and the more strong the setup actually becomes going forward. So either way, Chewy's on my radar.
Man, Mike, I got to give it to you. You've been talking about this one a lot, and a lot of people have actually been picking up shares of it down here, and I really like that. People are grabbing shares down around like that $15 to $17 mark, and it is looking great right now. A 13% day on Tuesday. I mean, that's one hell of a move there. So nice job, Chewy. With my first play, I'm looking at MU or Micron, and this is a pretty insane move here that Micron had as well. They were up 3.8%. It could have been even better, but if they break that high of day from Tuesday right around 157.50, then watch it up.
All right, sounds good. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is WBA, Walgreens, and this stock has been getting demolished, especially in the short term. It's actually all the way down to lows since like 1998. So this stock is at a historically low level, and in the short term, it is gaining some momentum, which is good to see. It is now holding the support right around like the $15 area and all the way down to like $14.65 as well. But what I do like with Walgreens in the short term is the risk reward. For example, right now the stock's right around $16.11. You can put a stop right there just under 15, and profit targets can be set all the way up to like that $18 to like $20 area. So the risk reward's pretty good with this one, but of course it has a lot of work to do if it wants to see like an actual move higher. But either way, it is definitely on my watch list, especially considering like the increasing momentum that we saw on Tuesday.
Yeah, and the risk reward here really isn't too bad. I know that Walgreens did start to come back alive a little bit, and it's cool to see it coming back. It's up 6.34%. When you go to that daily chart, it gets a little freaky looking, right, with how low it's getting. But hey, that should make for some decent buying opportunities as it starts to drop, and I'm sure that we'll see some pretty volatile moves as it chops around. So definitely keep WBA on the radar. And Mike, I'm actually going to talk about one that's not the most popular stock out there, and that's Pfizer, ticker symbol PFE. I know a lot of people have been watching this one. It's been dipping a lot recently and starting to come up a little bit off of these recent lows. I'm going to keep this support in mind around 26 to 26.50. There's been a lot of good price action here back to the upside, and I did like the move on Tuesday. So if we see another breakout above like 27.45 in the short term, I'll keep watching it back up as well. And that's another one of those dip buy stocks, right? Kind of like Walgreens.
All right, there we go. Well, it's now about that time for today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Palantir to the upside.
Palantir did great Tuesday as well, 3.2%. I mean, what didn't go up 3% Tuesday, it looks like. But if they break 26 tomorrow, then watch them up.
All right, with the next one, we have CZR, also to the upside.
Caesars Entertainment, another good day. If they break out above 38, then watch them to the upside.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Meta for both directions.
Yeah, Meta was pretty wild. A pretty red day as well, down 1.4% on Tuesday, and they're right around that $500 resistance now. So if they fall back under 498, then watch them to the downside. But if they rip above 500 and break 501, then watch them up.
Sounds good. So we have the upside levels for potential moves higher. We have the downside level for potential move lower. That's with Meta. But don't forget about CZR and then PLTR as well. These three stocks are on watch for potential day trades tomorrow. If and only if they break through the levels Tom listed. We're looking for strong, powerful, and consistent movement. If the stocks open up and they don't break the levels or the momentum is not strong, then don't feel the need to force the setups, right? We're looking for strong, powerful, consistent price action when it comes to momentum plays. But I think it's now about that time for today's $510,000 big money trade. And we are looking at ticker symbol ATRC. So I bet this is a company that none of you have heard of before, and sometimes the big money plays are like this. But basically, on Tuesday, we saw the big money put about $500,000 into a bullish play on ATRC. This is going to sound a little bit complicated at first, but bear with me for a second, and I'll break it down nice and simply. Basically, what the big money did is they bought the 25 strike call options for July 19th of 2024, and they shorted the 35 strike call options for July 19th of 2024. This is a bullish trade where the big money wants this stock to go up, and ideally the stock will go up to $35 or higher, but the main thing is that the big money wants the stock up and they need it above 25. If you want to make your life nice and easy, instead of trading the call debit spread, you can just trade the 25 strike call options for July 19th, and the trade will be extremely similar. Looking at ATRC right now, it had a really great day on Tuesday, as it is rumored to potentially be having a deal with a bigger company, well, ticker symbol EW to be more specific. But either way, the stock is towards recent lows as well. A lot of volume came in on Tuesday, and it's pretty interesting to see a big money play like this one. I do like big money plays that are in a spread format, just like this one, where there are two trades connected, because it definitely makes it a lot easier for everyone else to see exactly what the big money's intentions are, because they're trading a spread. But I don't want to get too in-depth with the advanced options details, but either way, keep ATRC on your radar.
Yeah, this is a very interesting setup here, and it's a company that has been falling down quite a bit, and like with the rumor of getting or having a deal with EW, that could be pretty big for this one, right? We've seen a lot of companies have some pretty insane movement off of deals like that, and who knows, maybe the big money is like the brother of somebody that works there, and they have the inside scoop, right? You never really know with the big money. I think it's kind of interesting with that, but I do like this one quite a bit, Mike. And like you said, you could just go after like the 25 strike or like the 20 strike if you wanted to, but nonetheless, it's a very interesting play, and I like that it expires in July too. It's something that's pretty short term. Like there's only 1 month on this expiration here, so it's more of a shorter term play, which I think is awesome, especially with that deal going on.
Yep, so we shall see. Either way, keep ATRC on your radar. But I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, which is Raw620 in the Stocked Up Discord. We can see they had a fantastic day on Tuesday with Qualcomm as they made a nice and small 412% gain. So awesome job there. Obviously, these gains are incredible, and you had a bunch of reactions in the channel as well. So keep on rolling. If you guys are not already in the Stocked Up Discord, check out that first link in the description in the comments down below. We have a great community here, and there's definitely a lot to learn and a lot to be gained. So check that out. It'll be that first link in the description in the comments down below. But Tom, looking at the market right now, we are still right at all-time highs. Nvidia is setting records in many different ways. It's now the world's largest company, which is crazy to say, and we're heading into a pretty strong period of the month. So I think we're set for a pretty exciting and very opportunity-filled next couple days.
Yeah, we definitely are. And, looking at NVIDIA here in the short term, it's been running up a lot. I know a lot of people are like, hey, what are some levels that we can look for? And if you guys are interested, check out Bookmap. It is awesome. It really allows you to see the levels that are ahead whenever these stocks are at all-time highs, just like NVIDIA is right now. You can see how, there's a lot of sellers stacked up at 140 right up here at the top of the Bookmap. Of course, there's lots of education out there on YouTube and on their website about how to use Bookmap if you guys are confused by it, but you can definitely see 140 is a huge level overhead there. So make sure you guys check out the link in the description down below for Bookmap. There are some pretty good deals that we have going on with them as well, but that 140 mark is going to be pretty big coming up over the next couple days. That's for sure.
There we go, and let's make these next 2 days count. And above all else, what comes with that is deploying smart, long-term, disciplined, sustainable trading habits. So, tomorrow when market open comes along, we're going to see a lot of great movement, right? But let's make sure to approach that movement and that price action in a smart way. So, for example, when you take trades, make sure you have a stop loss before you enter the trade. So you trade in a way that, your emotions don't dictate your trading actions, right? Following the money is another big thing. And then just, obviously having a plan for any and every trade that you take. Doing those simple things can make a very big difference over the course of many trades. But definitely keep that in mind. If you guys are new to the channel, consider demolishing that subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. In every single video, we cover the most important news, charts you would have otherwise never seen, and we cover big money plays as well. But besides that, thank you all so much for watching, and let's have a great end to the week.